Welcome back.
Welcome back to Elephant Den. It's Ashley.
And Alex.
And in this episode number 4, we're going to be continuing on with our road to the Oscars with the next movie, Babylon.
Babylon, 2022.
Yeah, so Babylon was released in December 23rd, 2022, so not too long ago. It was directed by Damien Chazelle.
Yeah.
Who also directed Whiplash, one of my favorite films, and La La Land, right?
And First Man with, I don't know if you saw that one where Ryan Gosling goes on the moon.
No, I didn't see that one.
Yes.
So
but
I need to watch
out
it.
of his library of films, I think Whiplash has remained my favorite.
Yeah, that one's really good. So this film, Babylon, was nominated for Best Original Score, Best Production Design, and Best Costume Design. So 3 nominations. So we're going to talk about it today. Before we get started, I do want to mention, if you have been enjoying our videos, please subscribe. We would greatly appreciate it. Also, hit the like button and the notification button, right?
Leave some comments.
Yeah, leave a comment.
Constructive criticism is
give us feedback.
Good.
If you agree with something we say, if you disagree, write something. We'll write to you back. And tell your friends about us, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so let's get started.
So let's go on with Babylon.
Yeah, let's give a brief summary of what Babylon is
Well,
about.
first off, Babylon, what does it mean? It derives from the Akkadian language meaning gate of God, or a strong and powerful, yet corrupted and immoral place, a place of excessive luxury, and wickedness. I think that pretty much sums up kind of the filter you're experiencing this movie through. It's a lot of excess, a lot of debauchery. You're focusing on multiple characters who work in different facets of the movie industry. Mm-hmm. You have our leading stars, Brad Pitt, who plays a star of silent films. You have Margot Robbie.
His name is Jack Conrad.
Thank you. We have Margot Robbie, who plays Nellie Leroy. She's a young actress, up and coming, who stumbles onto one of these big parties, maybe hosted by Brad Pitt's character.
Maybe.
And overnight, she gains the opportunity to work on a set, and not long after that becomes kind of like an overnight sensation.
Take in mind, this movie takes place, the first year they show is 1926, right?
Correct. This is the what do they call it? The Roaring 20s, but it was the silent era of films at this time. And you also have Manny, who's kind of our main protagonist, who starts out as a production assistant. I'll just say right off the opening, you see an elephant take a dump on the camera, and then all over the characters, including Manny. And I think that's kind of Damien Chazelle's way of just, priming us to the excess that's gonna be literally dumped on us. And I'll be the first to say, as it is a fun ride, it rubs me the wrong way when films like this, their main kind of what they're going for is to go along for the ride in this excess and debauchery, like I said. It reminded me very much of Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, it had a very similar feel.
It's very interesting to see, that movie was about Wall Street and stockbrokers. This one is about Hollywood at a particular time. I love seeing that. But for 3 hours, out of the 3 hours, 90% of the film we're just seeing kind of crazy situations.
Yeah.
And there's
I would say wild.
Wild situations. My favorite scenes from the film are scenes where they're working on set and they need to troubleshoot, and kind of the day in the life
that was cool to see.
Of a producer, a production executive, a director, actor. I loved seeing those things.
I loved when they showed the contrast between during the silent era when they were filming how loud and chaotic and there's so much motion, so much yelling. Yeah. And so you see all that and the amount of takes they had to do for that and then they later on show the after the silent era when it became
When sound first gets introduced and people are wearing microphones and then everyone has to be quiet,
on
which is
set.
such a
Yeah.
interesting juxtaposition, I guess.
Yeah, that was really cool.
And to see Nellie, who I think she was a great character, she's a great actress. I loved, and I will say Margot Robbie kind of gets typecast as this fun blonde, loose cannon.
She's always kind of almost in a very similar role.
So
with all her
yeah,
films.
and I was just for her, I was kind of trepidatious as to okay, here we go again. But honestly, it was through her character which I actually enjoyed seeing the fun and her love of life. And she has a great dance scene early on in the party, which was I love the
That was so
choreography.
good. Yeah.
Ain't life grand?
Before we continue, I did want to touch on the 3 nominations you mentioned. I think, yeah, they're all worthy. The score really stood out to me, the score by Justin Hurwitz. I really loved it. Obviously jazzy, really electric and alive.
It's got that 1920s feel. What do you call that era? Flapper girls? With the flapper girls?
I don't know that term.
Yeah,
No,
no,
it's fine.
flapper girls. I think that's what they called the girls. Oh, I think it was in the 1930s. But anyways, it's got that.
Which this
It's got that
film goes into.
costume design as well to it. The feel of that.
This film more or less bleeds 20s into the 30s.
Right.
The length of the movie doesn't bother me. That could be a complaint to some people. I love long films, and I didn't feel the length, despite me kind of complaining about how it's kind of just these ridiculous situations, and some of them are quite gross and uninspired.
It stretched it a little bit.
But I didn't mind for the length. What'd you think of the characters?
Yeah, so let's go into the characters. I don't have a list of all of them, but I have Nellie, who is played by Margot Robbie, Manuel, who is played by Diego Calva.
Thank you.
I like that they introduced some new actors, at least for me in this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they had the 2 big stars like Brad Pitt and Margot Robbie, right? Yeah, they introduced some new people. Lady Fei Zhu, her name's Lee Jun Lee.
Yes.
Another actress that I haven't heard of. And then Mr. Palmer, who is played by Jovan Adepo or Jovan Adepo. I'm not sure how to pronounce that name, but he's another actor that I was admiring throughout the film. I thought was very talented.
And thank you for mentioning them, because I think I was more interested in their characters. Brad Pitt's very charming, as well as Margot Robbie.
But you always see them play very similar roles that they are amazing actors, but it's almost like you kind of, okay, I've seen it before. What else is new?
I would
right?
almost wonder whether Brad Pitt would, if this was true to life, if he would even be a star in a silent film, because of his ruggedness, and I don't know, maybe he'd be better off as a stuntman, and that's not just because of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but it's Brad Pitt. He's great to have in your movie. They touched slightly on the racism aspect with that character.
Mr. Palmer.
Yes.
That scene, yeah, that was really.
That was disappointing
that
to
was
see Manny.
disheartening.
Yeah, to see Manny but Manny being a production executive, he has to be a yes man in a way.
It was interesting because I liked him from the beginning, and then you kind of see that, yeah, he had to be the yes man. He had to agree to these things because that's what the job required, right?
Yeah.
In order for him to keep his position. So it was kind of disappointing that he kind of ended up following.
And they only touched on it slightly.
I did want to mention, I loved that this film had all these characters and the storyline with all of them, because it goes to show you, I felt like the theme of the film was adaptability and how to adapt to change. And I loved seeing all of the characters and how different their approach was.
That's
to
a really good point.
The silent era going into film with sound.
I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
Most of the characters, including Nellie, I love how we have to watch her from her first day on set on a silent picture. She nails it, right? She could cry.
So good.
She could hold back tears. She could lay him out. But then she had to adapt to the sound era. And I love that scene with her, and she nails it too. Shows her adaptability. As opposed to Brad Pitt, who we see kind of decline in popularity. And
I
I
love
think
you, I love you, I love
I
you.
love you, I love you. There's a lot of a lot to remind us of Singing in the Rain, obviously, in this film. I guess Damien's a huge fan, but it's a classic.
I love that
We
film.
watched it together.
Yeah, so good.
I think one of the best scenes, and I think you would have said this too, was when Brad Pitt's character confronts the gossip columnist. Her name is Eleanor in the film.
Yeah.
And she's very adaptable too.
So I felt like that scene it got very real in that moment, because throughout the whole film it's just fun and it's got a lot of imagery. But then this scene was just a conversation between Eleanor and Jack Conrad. And she goes and she tells him about being the cockroach, right? To survive in a burning house. Because the house burns down, you have to learn to find another place. Survive.
Hide in the dark.
Hide in the dark.
Yeah.
And so I really liked that scene because it's so real in terms of the evolution of our life, or human beings trying to survive and adapt to change. So yeah, that was a very telling moment that I took away from the film, and I appreciated.
It was good, and she reminds Brad Pitt's character, that he'll be immortalized in films.
Yeah, that he still mentions, or she still mentions, that he is legendary. That he made his mark, right, through films, that people years when he's dead will watch him. So I liked that.
One really silly part, I think, it just popped into my head, but when it's the scene of where they just do something crazy for no real point. They go and fight a rattlesnake, essentially. And it's a chaotic situation, and Nellie Leroy gets bit in the neck by a rattlesnake, and it's the fangs are punctured in her for like a minute. All that time there's venom entering the bloodstream, and then Lady Faye
Saves the day,
cuts off the snake's head and sucks the venom out. That is so silly.
Do you think it was to show...
It was to get them to hook up a little bit, because they share a passionate kiss.
But then there was a moment where Brad Pitt's character, Jack Conrad, has this, like, it's almost like his nostalgia to the film back in the day where it was this chaotic. So I wonder if
I forgot about that.
If that was to show that.
And then we get to near the end. There's another scene I wanted to point out, which introduces Tobey Maguire, who I think is miscast as a drug lord. And he's kind of creepy, and there's nothing he does particularly wrong. I just don't see him in that role.
His greasy hair and white face.
How do you boys do?
Yeah, a little creepy, and they end up going to the underbelly of Los Angeles, and again, it's just uninventive. It's just red lights and kinky sex acts going on, and Leatherface eating rats, and that's pretty much it. His henchman is just constantly horking and spitting, which was kind of irritating. And it reminds me of another movie that takes place in a particular time and focuses on an industry. Boogie Nights by Paul Thomas Anderson focuses on the porn industry. It must be in the 70s or 80s, I'm guessing, but there's a very similar scene towards the end of that film where they're all coked out and they're gonna do a drug deal or a fake drug deal, and they're in this really tense situation with Alfred Molina's character, who's a big drug pusher, and they're shooting off firecrackers.
Ricky Springfield, the fire mine.
That was such a well done scene in that movie, and I think this was trying to almost copy it down to the fake transaction with the fake money, and that part was not necessary, I think. And then we get to the end where Manny, he was left with no choice but to leave Los Angeles. Nellie's fate, she walks off into the night dancing, and we found out she dies at 34. I think she was a character based on a few real-life actresses I've heard of who had similar fates and
Are you talking
lifestyles.
about Marilyn Monroe?
No, it wasn't based off Marilyn Monroe.
Oh.
I looked up on it. I can't remember their names, but so Manny's left to flee to New York. He comes back a decade or more later with his family, a kid and wife, and he ends up sitting in a movie theater alone watching Singing in the Rain. And I think this is what most audiences are talking about after viewing this film is the ending edit with the montage of real life pictures being compiled.
Films, even like
On the
recent
screen.
films like Avatar was on there too. Well, I mean, I guess my assumption of all of those clips was to show the evolution of film and how much it's changed since that era. That's all I really took from it. But what did you want to say about that?
I didn't take much from it either. It was a little strange. I can't really pinpoint why.
I didn't like that last, like, the sound and the flashing and...
What did we say? We've never had an epileptic episode, but,
No, but
that part almost made it happen. Like,
I
that
had
was
to look
so
away from the
unnecessary.
screen just because it was just too much for me. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, I wish it more subtly catwalked into the credits.
And I do agree. I think they should have just stopped it there just to blend in with all the other chaotic scenes in the film instead of go to the shot of Manuel's face at the end.
Yeah, I was confused too. He falls asleep in the theater, but then he wakes up at a particular point. Yeah, it was hard to understand what he was trying to say with it. And again, it's a movie which already isn't trying to say a whole lot. I think it's more about the ride and the experience. But then in the end, it felt like that edit was... I just didn't know what exactly I was supposed to feel from it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't my favorite. It was fun. I enjoyed it watching it the one time. I recommend watching it in theater.
The imagery, visuals, sound, everything. I thought
the production.
Well
it was
done.
filmed on film, which we need to show that we were interested in watching film 70 millimeters, so we should support that.
Oh, it was actually filmed on film?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I like that. It's not easy.
And so that's Babylon.
That's Babylon. Let's move on. This is something we thought we'd add into this episode as a fun little game.
It was your idea. I have no prior knowledge
Alex
as to
has
what's
no
going
idea
on.
what's to come.
I know it's a game,
It's
which
just a
may
game.
test me.
I'm going to be showing him quick 3 to like, there's some of them that are like 9 seconds just because I
I'm
feel
gonna
like you
get
might
it.
not get them.
I was hoping for 1 second as soon as you mentioned
Some of them are
guessing
1
clips.
second. I know I put the easy ones as 1 second because I know you would get it in like a heartbeat.
Okay.
But the other ones, the harder ones, I think I gave you a little bit of time to.
Hopefully I don't embarrass her.
We'll see. Let's
Or
see.
myself.
So there's 10
Let's
films
start
in
with
here.
myself.
Let's see if Alex is going to get all of them.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
Let's get started with the first film.
I'm excited.
Okay.
Guess the movie.
So it's called Guess the Movie.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to start with the very first one. All right?
All right.
Ready?
Set. Go. Lion King.
That was 1 second.
Yeah.
I knew you'd get it in less than a second. All right, good job. So before we move on, I just thought I'd do a little bit of a fun fact about each film. So
Oh, I love it.
That was Lion King.
Yeah.
It was released June 24th in 1994, the year I was born. That's why it's so
Great year.
special. Good
Great
year.
year.
It was. Thank you.
Everything is aged beautifully from that year,
Including me.
especially you.
Okay, thank you. It was directed by Rob Minkoff and Roger Allers. Fun fact, this film was based off of Hamlet. Did you know that?
I did. I didn't know the director's name, though.
Oh, yeah, me too. I didn't
So
know the
thank you for
directors,
that.
and then I had to look it up. So, yeah, I didn't know that. It was based off of Hamlet. All right, good job.
Thank you.
Next film.
Oh, Blade Runner.
You're so good. I knew it. Okay, so this one, actually, yeah, you're correct. Blade Runner.
Oh, may I say it is the original Blade Runner?
Yes. Because the other one's
I
called...
couldn't tell you which cut it was. There's
couldn't?
like 5 different cuts for this movie.
Oh, okay.
Director's, theatrical, a couple of others.
Okay. Well,
But-
I mean, you got it within a second. So, did you look?
No, I promise. I
Don't
realized
look
I
at
could have
these.
looked. I promise I did not.
Okay, good. Don't look at
No,
them.
I'm not. I don't.
Okay. Blade Runner. It came out in 1982, directed by Ridley Scott. And this fun fact is, do androids dream of electric sheep is what
Based
the
off the
movie is
book.
based off of.
Yeah.
But apparently, like, not, it's like the
It's not the
characters
same
are the
story.
same. Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
not the same story, which I was surprised to learn that.
It's more about the idea. And another fun fact, I showed Ashley that film. It was one of the first films I recommended.
Yes, you
and the
did.
first pieces of music I shared.
I mean, it was his background wallpaper on your phone for like the longest time, and so I was like, "Ooh, what's this? Tell me all about it." Good films. I liked 2049, Blade Runner 2049, a little bit better, but this one was really good too. All right, next one.
Can I hear it?
Oh, whew.
See, they're a little bit longer because I thought you would have.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't know.
Do you
Never
know who
back
she
down?
was?
No, was that Brittany Murphy?
No,
I have no idea.
you don't know who that was?
No.
Okay.
Can I go see it again?
No, you only get one try, just because I don't want to go back and touch it.
Okay. Sorry, I don't know.
This one was Burlesque. That was
I
Christina.
watched that with my mom and sister.
Christina Aguilera. Burlesque came out in 2010, directed by Steve Anton. Fun fact about this one, Christina seamlessly stepped into this role because she was already a big fan of burlesque. She studied a lot of burlesque culture for one of her albums. So she already knew a lot about burlesque when she got into this one.
All right, you got me.
All right, let's see if you can get the rest. So right now you have 2 out of 10, so that's pretty good. Let's go.
Oh, No Country for Old Men.
Good job. Okay, you got that one right. No Country for Old Men came out in 2007, directed by the Coen brothers.
I was staring through. I wasn't looking at
Like
the
you're
thing.
looking at my
I
paper.
promise. I'm so honest. I can't, I'm not even seeing it. I
And
can't.
my writing's messy too. So yes, good job. Fun fact about this one. So Javier Bardem actually won Best Supporting Actor. He became the first Spanish actor to win an Oscar.
Wow.
And really cool, the second person to win, the second Spanish actor to win another Oscar was his wife, Penelope Cruz.
From Vicky Cristina Barcelona is what she won in.
Okay. I didn't
I
check
love
that,
that.
but yeah.
I'll
So-
tell you a fun fact about this movie.
Talk about power couple.
I'm not sure who did the list, but there was a list contrived of the 100 best performances that were of characters playing a psychopath. And experts, so I guess psychologists, rated Javier Bardem's character as Anton as the #1 greatest representation of a psychopath
Wow.
in any movie.
Oh, wow. That's quite scary.
Yeah.
If I was like
Almost-
awarded the best psychotic character to play.
I think
That's
it's
a
almost as
compliment.
scary as his haircut.
Yeah, oh gosh. Is there?
Next.
But,
This is
okay,
a good
cool.
game.
Okay, good. Next one.
How about something different tonight? How about a film?
Oh, I
nobody
know
else
this.
has seen?
Oh, God.
This one was extra long for you because I knew you wouldn't get it right away.
Oh, I know. I got it. Pearl. Yes. I just remember that
Good
guy
job.
dies.
Yeah, okay, wow,
Spoiler,
good job.
Yeah, Pearl.
You are correct, it is Pearl. It came out in 2022, last year. directed by T. West. Fun fact about this one, Mia Goth, the actor who plays Pearl, co-wrote the script with T. West because they were working on Film X together. They were filming this around the same time in New Zealand, and it was like they were quarantined, locked down, so it was like, why not?
And they have the third coming. It's kind of like they're not inconsequential to each other, but it's kind of going to be like a trilogy. And the new one is going to take place in modern day.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
I think Mia Goth is a great actress. She has a look, obviously.
Yeah.
I think it would really lend. I almost want to say she's working in the wrong time. She could have been great for like 70s slasher films.
Yeah, totally. She did a really good job in this one, Pearl.
Yeah.
All right, so next one we have.
1940. No, I'm gonna get the year wrong, but I know what movie that is. It's a World War I film. So 1913, 1914?
Oh, you're so close.
1918.
Oh, you're so close.
1917?
Yes.
Oh.
I guess that counts because you did get it right. I thought you were going to get this
I
confused.
knew it was World War I. I kind of got the frame of time right. I think I should get it.
I was like, this is going to be a hard one because there's a lot of war films.
Yeah.
So, like, I wonder how you knew that.
Yeah.
How did you know? The actor?
The actor.
Okay. Yeah, so you're correct. 1917 is the film.
Yeah.
This
Sam
came
Mendes.
out in 2020. Yes, directed by Sam Mendes. Fun fact about this one, it won 3 Academy Awards. Best Cinema, Best Sound Mixing, and
Best Cinema?
Cinematography, sorry.
Best cinema.
Best Cinema.
It was very good cinema.
Cinematography, Best Sound Mixing, and Best Visual Effects.
This was the movie which was edited to make it look like it was all real time.
Yeah, there was a lot of one-shots, right?
Well, yes, but on top of that, it all seemed like it took place in real time.
Oh, like it was all in the span of like a day
few
or
hours.
something, or a few hours.
There was one point in which the character blacks out, and then he regains consciousness, but besides that, there's no real intermission.
Oh, cool. Alex, you're so good at this.
All right! Woo! Yes!
Okay, next one.
So, what's the plan?
Is this a trick?
Back like a deer feeder.
Oh, Hell or High Water.
What?
Yeah.
No way, I thought
I
you
thought
were
it was
gonna
No
get
Country
that.
for Old Men. Again, I thought you were trying to trick me. But yeah, Jeff Bridges'
Okay,
voice.
wait. Wow, I'm so impressed. You're correct. Hell or High Water. Came out in 2016. I've never seen this film. I saw it on there. I'm like, okay, this is random. You didn't give it a high rating. So I'm like, okay, you probably might not remember this film.
Yeah, I don't think on Letterboxd, I rate the movies to kind of organize them, so I don't think too much about it. But I mean, there is some reasoning behind it, obviously. But I've noticed with my rating average, you would think that I have a lot of low-rated movies. But I just find a lot of movies to be kind of average.
Okay.
And for me, like, big factors are rewatchability and the how deep and
message.
thought-provoking is the message. So this just doesn't happen to be anything.
Okay. Came out 2016, directed by David Mackenzie. So this one, interesting fact, this film was dedicated to the director's parents, David Mackenzie. They both passed away during the making of this film.
Wow.
So to reference them, he put their initials on license plate throughout the film. Yeah. I thought that was
Sweet.
sweet.
That's really sweet.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
If I had that kind of opportunity,
Yeah.
I would.
Do
Try
little
and do
things like
something a
that.
little
I like
different, but
little
that's-
things like that are
Yeah.
so subtle. All right, let's get ready for the next one.
Opportunity. Oh, Green Mile. I haven't even seen it.
You haven't even seen this. Okay,
But
wow.
yeah, it's Mr. Duncan.
What about me? I'm gonna
I
get
mean,
some
I guess you
bars.
can tell. I just thought
Wow,
I'd give you a
young,
few actors
George
in this
Jones.
too.
Yeah, what's obviously Tom Hanks.
Wow.
Yeah.
You haven't even seen it.
That's such a pop culture.
I mean, it's iconic. The Green Mile. This one came out in 1999. This one was one of the first films I watched when I was younger that really touched me. A lot of other movies I watched, I didn't like. It was just for fun, you know. I was a kid when I watched this, so I was like, wow, this one, I felt something. I started to feel emotions. Anyways, so yes, this one came out in 1999, directed by Frank Darabont. Interesting fact about this one. So according to Frank, the director, Percy, played by Doug Hutchinson, was given the squeakiest shoes he had ever heard. And so he loved it because he found that it was perfectly wonderful and annoying character trait for that character. So he kept it in.
I think Robert De Niro said one of the ways he really finds every character he signs up to play is by what shoes they wear.
Oh, interesting. I know people do talk about looking at people's shoes to like determine a person. Interesting. All right, good job, Alex.
Couple more.
Oh, he likes
The
you.
favorite.
Oh my God, really?
A bunch of bunnies. Yeah.
I lost some 17 children.
Yeah. She was great in it. Olivia Colman.
So good. She won an Oscar for that, right? All right. Well, you are correct. I thought this was going to be hard, but I guess not. Alex is a genius. So yes, this one is The Favorite. It came out in 2018, directed by Yorgos Lanthimos. Fun fact about this one, Kate Winslet was originally casted to
Was
play...
Olivia Colman?
No, Lady Sarah. But then Rachel Weisz.
Oh, I
took
like
that
Rachel
role.
Weisz.
I like her too. I thought she did a really good job in that one as Lady Sarah. Last but not least. Are you ready for this?
Okay. Yes. Oh, Inglourious Bastard.
So I could have just put a 1-second clip of her face.
Yeah, that was a great example of a scene where food is such a interesting tool in films. I love watching characters eat because in that scene they're eating the
Yeah, the
strudel.
dessert. Yeah.
And yeah, the sounds, and it's a high tension scene, similar to like in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly in the beginning. Yeah, the food is a great tool for films.
To talk on that, my acting coach liked he loved props on set. And food was one of them to like, because he thought that you could put a lot into the props and like use that. For example, having a conversation about something, if you want to leave it unfinished, you leave your glass full of whatever you're drinking unfinished. Or like if you want to finish the conversation, he's like, finish the glass and then
Yes.
put it down, and that's the end of
yeah.
that scene. And I love
Interesting. I
that.
never
Like,
thought
yeah,
of that.
you're right. You can incorporate a lot with food, props on set. It's fun. This one is Inglourious Bastards, came out in 2009, directed by Quentin Tarantino. So fun fact about this one, actually I have a couple for this. Quentin actually worked on this script for almost a decade.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. He also intended this film to be as much a war film as a spaghetti western. He considered titling the movie Once Upon a Time in Nazi-occupied France,
I didn't know that.
but instead gave the title to the first chapter of the film. So I thought it was cool that he already wanted to like name his film Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yes.
Right?
Because he was a fan of the Sergio Leone films, Once Upon a Time in the West
Yeah,
End,
yeah,
and
he liked
in
his
America.
films.
Interesting. Yeah, I love that. Maybe between that, Django, and Pulp Fiction, those are my favorites of his. But he even commented, the last scene he says, "This may just be my masterpiece," and I think
Oh,
it's accurate. I love how he twists history. It's fun. Makes it very cinematic, but also, it was a hardcore
I mean,
subject.
it's something to do, like, it's fun to do with film. You can do that with film.
Mm-hmm.
So, Yeah, I thought I'd add in one of your favorite directors, Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
All right, well, it looks like Alex got 9 out of 10 on that.
Yeah, I'm proud. I'm happy with that.
Impressive. So good.
Thanks. It was a fun game. I like the facts, the trivia.
Yeah?
That's a good addition.
Yeah, I thought I'd add that to it
Sounds good.
because if you'd guessed it all right, it would be boring. But I'm just kidding. No, good job. This goes to show you, guys, this guy, really good with his films. Knows a lot.
Thank you.
This is why you should subscribe to this channel to hear more of us talk about movies. Put a thumbs up for this video and put the notification button on so that you can get updates on when our next video is.
Yes, please do that.
So that concludes this episode. Thank you so much for watching. We always appreciate your views and likes. You can also follow us on Instagram for more updates. And you can also follow us on Letterboxd.
Letterboxd is not a sponsor, but an app we love to use to organize our movie watching experience. We recommend you do it as well. And you could see reviews, critiques. You could follow personalities that you love, see their movie watching experience.
Mm-hmm.
Up and
Great
coming
app.
movies, keep a list of movies you want to watch.
Yeah, you can have a watch list. That's what I use it for.
It's great.
It's really good. So follow us on there. All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much. It was so much fun.
Well, it was so much fun.
Thanks, Ash.
We'll see you on the next episode.
Bye.
You're awesome.